Let's start by taking a shot at recreating this effect that we have in our first scene. And as you see, some gifts are dropping on our logo and deforming it. It's actually pretty easy to do that. This is the cinema for this scene. This is cast and plays nicely real time. So I have a simple version of the scene. This is supposedly the logo, and these are the gifts that are falling. And let's take stuff one by one. Firstly, let's add to the floor and to the presents, a rigid body tag. And immediately going to my cloner, collision, individual elements, say all. So immediately you see the gifts falling and they are sliding a bit. And in order to avoid, let me actually reduce my frames. And in order to avoid all this sliding, all I need to do is go here and increase the friction. In either tag it works, it just adds the friction on top of each other. So if I do the friction here as well, 99, they're gonna stick a bit more to the floor. So it's completely up to you to art direct your shot. Just remember that all those forces are being added one on top of another. So this is one thing, but in our scenario, there were the presents dropping firstly first these presents and then these presents. Maybe if I make the height difference even more, you will see this effect better. So right now they're all falling together at the same time. And what I need to do here, there are a couple of techniques in order to achieve that, but first thing first, let's go to project settings, dynamics, general, and make gravity 0. Therefore, now nothing is moving. Very nice. How are we gonna activate their movement now? There are a couple of ways. Let me show you the most straightforward way first. So here I have a gravity, and you might ask, we just deleted the gravity, why we are re-adding it, what value will that bring? And all we need to do is go here to our fall-off, and this is the value we're bringing, and add a linear field. And this wasn't possible with the scene gravity to add fall-offs, but now with local forces, we can do that. So let's say y plus, and I always confuse this, it's y minus. So if I move this up, let's say, let's do this again. Yeah, so all objects are falling. And this is the first and very straightforward method, but let me show you another trick that I like. So again, here I have the gravity, everything falling. And I can go to my tag in the boxes, go to dynamics and say, instead of trigger immediately, I'm gonna say on collision. So right now, because they're not colliding with anything, they're not dropping. And even if gravity exists, it cannot affect the position of my object. So all I need to do is create a large cube. Let's give it a display tag. Let's make it lines. And let me hide the floor as well. And I'm gonna animate the cube at around, I don't know, frame 80. Let me take this up here. Let me select my keyframes and instead of spline, go linear. And now I have this cube going up in the air. So as you probably imagine, if I go to my cube and add a collider body tag, because it's on collision, all it does, it takes the presents and drives them up. This is very cool, but I don't want this effect. The effect that I want is, let me delete this tag. Let's go again. And there is this little ghost guy here, the ghost tag, ghost body tag. And what this ghost does, it activates, it has this hidden collision, but it doesn't push objects away. So it acts like an activator. And this is a very nice trick that can help you many times trigger your dynamics very, very easily. And the difference here is when it says dynamic, when it's on, it's rigid body, when it's off, it's collider body, and when it's ghost, it's a ghost body. So this tag, these three different tags are actually the same thing, only by changing this setting here. Cool. So now we have a nice start, but I want also those presents rotate around their axis. And how are we gonna achieve that? If I go to custom initial velocity, enable it, it has velocity to some sides. So for example, here is on the x-axis. No, it's not working on collision. Sorry, I am in the wrong tag, I'm sorry. So again, custom initial velocity. When it touches them, they're gonna use local coordinates to go move on their y-axis, and if I disable object coordinates, they're just flying up when they're being touched. So very, very cool. But I don't want any direction, and I don't want world coordinates, I want object coordinates. So all I need is some nice rotation. So as the object passes, you see now they're rotating and then they're falling. Maybe this is too much. It's up to you to direct your shot as you want it. Very, very nice. So now that we dealt with the gifts falling, let's see how we're gonna do the denting thing. So here I have my cube, and this is actually a very nice and neat effect. And let me actually also reduce the number of clones. Let me have 2. The one is falling and the other one is falling as well. So let me make it a bit more random. Yeah, somewhere there. So the one cube is falling there and the other cube is falling there, and let me give it more frames because they're supposed to do some cool actually damage. This is, as I said, pretty easy. All we need to do is use a soft body tag, and let's see where we are. From the very beginning, our cube is falling down, and we don't want that. So one thing we need to do is go to force and exclude the gravity. We don't necessarily have to do that because you will see on the next step what are we gonna do. So by excluding the gravity, as the objects fall, they do this nice hit on the cube and then they fall on the side. You see, very, very nice. But because the objects are a bit, let's say they have some mass, they're pushing the cube away, and if I leave it more frames, you will see that the cube will be affected in its movement. So let me make this a bit more prominent. If I go here to my small cubes and go to mass and go custom density, and let's see with a density of 1 what we get. No, it's pretty low. Let's do a density of 10. You see, as the cube falls, it takes the soft body with it with much bigger force. So this is also a nice attribute to play with. I'm gonna use world density back again. So how are we gonna make this main cube not fall? Well, the answer again is pretty simple. You've probably seen it many times. Going to the soft body tag, go to forces and enable some follow position and follow rotation. Therefore, even if I increase now my mass, you see, as the cubes fall, they try to move my cube, but they're not succeeding. And I can totally art direct this because let's say I don't want this to rotate that much. All I need to do is go here and in the forces and pull the follow rotation up, and as you see, it's not rotating as it was before. Very, very nice. But we're not getting the dents that we that we had in the video. How are we gonna achieve that? Well, here in the soft body settings, there are a few minor tweaks we need to do. And the first one is stiffness. So let's say we up the stiffness by quite a bit. And you see, everything is a lot stiffer, but when the cube's touching it, the deformations do not stay in place. And there is another little setting here called elastic limit. And this elastic limit is how much it lets polygons to come back to their original state. So if I reduce it to a very, very low number from 1000 to 1, now take a look. Our effect is complete. So here is the first dent, very nice. And here is the second dent. And this is all there is to it. All we need to do now is add the subdivision surface, go to my tag, press CAS. So it's on the second screen here. It's baking very fast. And let's see our result. Boom. And boom. And there you have it. This is the first scene. This is all I did in this here, just with much more presence and much more movement. And of course I didn't use all of that shot. I edited and used only a part of it. So this is scene number 1. I hope you enjoy this first part of the series. Not all scenes will be as easy as this, but I wanted to start softly and move in different pace with other shots. So see you in the next one.